Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Quantum Football. Today, I'm going to bring you guys the mock draft post Orlando Brown trade. So, this is it's not been a huge trade, but it does shake up things a little bit, and I haven't made one in a while. So, here we go. At number one, I think this is pretty obvious. We're gonna pencil that in basically at this point, and Zach Wilson has basically been confirmed as the number 2 overall pick. Um, in my opinion, it should be Justin Fields, but Zach Wilson, hell of a player, anyways. At 2, it's just fine. And then here, I'm absolutely convinced that it's going to be Justin Fields. However, sneakily, I think Trey Lance could get in there. I I'm not gonna believe ever that it's Mac Jones until the 49ers take him at 3. I just don't believe that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would you trade up 3 firsts for Mac Jones? His ceiling's like what? People have said it's Kirk Cousins. Some people have, like, been very generous to him and said Matt Ryan, but I think Kirk Cousins makes a lot more sense. Don't get me wrong, Kirk Cousins is like top 15 quarterback. So it's not that bad, but it's if that's his absolute ceiling, right? You're just not happy with taking that. So right now, I think it's like 60% Justin Fields, 30% Trey Lance, and 10% Mac Jones, in my opinion, at least. And here at 4, I think the rest of this mock draft, I'm gonna try and like put things a little bit out of order, mainly just to see what kind of landing spots are possible, because all the teams are not going to have the same draft grades on everyone. And actually, let me put myself right here real quick. Nobody's going to have the same grades for everyone. So you might see, prospects that are way higher than others. And here at number 4, I don't think people are going to want to trade up this far for Trey Lance or Mac Jones. I think if there's anyone to do it, it's the Broncos, but they've already called Atlanta, and they got rejected. So I don't really see anyone else doing it. Maybe the Lions could. It's a sneaky one, but I think since they're rebuilding, they don't want to like take a huge risk right now. I think they're way more likely to trade back than trade up. So besides that, it's basically the Patriots and then the football team and the Bears, and I don't think they want to go up that far. So here, I'm actually going to take Patrick Surtain. And I think this is very interesting because I've been hearing a lot that Patrick Surtain is valued a whole lot higher around the league than we think. And it's not like the Falcons are stacked there at corner, right? They've basically got AJ Terrell, who was a rookie last year and didn't quite play amazing or anything. So getting another guy to beef up that secondary is going to help out a lot. Here at 5, I think the Bengals are locked in at either Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, actually, because I think they want to protect Joe Burrow. I think the NFL overall values wide receivers a whole lot less than tackles. So I think I'm starting to be convinced that Jamar Chase is not going to the Bengals at 5. So it's between Rashawn Slater or Penei Sewell at this point, and here I'm going to take Penei Sewell. And then at number 6, I think the whole reason why the Dolphins traded up is that they had one guy in mind. And if I had to say what their guy was, it would probably be a Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith, because of that connection with Tua Tagovailoa. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. Now, the faster receiver here, and the NFL loves speed. That's why Henry Ruggs came off first. Now I know it was to the Raiders, who love to reach on people, but I think it still stands that they love speed overall. And Jalen Waddle has got that speed, so I would not be surprised if he's the first wide receiver taken at 6. I think this is like probably the most likely scenario to happen where the wide receiver goes off first. And here at 7, I think it's very interesting because I think that the Lions could trade down here, and the team trading up could trade for Kyle Pitts actually. So maybe the Cowboys trade up for Kyle Pitts. I highly doubt that. But maybe someone like the Chargers, who've missed a a tight end with Hunter Henry now gone in free agency, that could be possible. But here I'm just gonna have them instead take a Trey Lance. He sits behind maybe Jared Goff for a year or two, and they can help develop him. And Lions are a sneaky team to take a quarterback. I definitely think this is possible. And here at 8, I think this is where Kyle Pitts finally goes to the Carolina Panthers. I think this does make a lot of sense as a fit because right now they only really have Dan Arnold as their tight end, which, I mean, he played decently last year for the Cardinals, but I don't think he's nearly, as good as you'd hope. So Kyle Pitts here at number 8. Now here, the Broncos are in a very interesting situation. I think if Mac Jones is still on the board here, I don't think they take him. Now, what I think is more likely is that they trade down, get more assets, and take like a defensive player. But instead here, I'm going to have them going for what the NFL probably believes is the best defensive player in the class. I don't agree with that, but it's Micah Parsons here at number 9. And at number 10, people have the Dallas Cowboys going tackle all the time. But here, I think since Mac Jones is still available, I think there's going to be a team that likes him enough to want to trade up for him. And that team is going to be the Chicago Bears, of course. Everybody hates Mac Jones. Just like everyone, I mean, there's some people who like Trubisky, but excuse me, not as many people. I think more people like Deshaun Watson, if I'm not mistaken. And Mitch Trubisky did not turn out to do so well. So here they trade up with the Cowboys, and they grab Mac Jones. And here at number 11, I think this is another interesting spot. Here I can see a lot of things happening. I can see them going O-line with Rashawn Slater, maybe even Christian Darrisaw. I can see them going receiver with Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. And I can even see them going edge rusher potentially and taking like Jalen Phillips here. Maybe even sneaky Christian Barmore could happen. But I think here, I think the Giants they should be going wide receiver. And the reason why I say that is they only have Kenny Golladay. And if you only have one wide receiver, I do not think you should be in the business of passing up wide receivers, especially at the kind of value that consensus has. So I think here we're going to see either Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. And here I believe Devontae Smith fits the Giants better, just because Devontae Smith probably goes off if he's a wide receiver too in the NFL. I think he'd be fantastic. If he only has to deal with the second cornerback, he will just manhandle him. And you're gonna see Devontae Smith potentially be like what Justin Jefferson was last year, playing in the slot and then going outside occasionally, and being behind Adam Thielen last year. I think he's gonna get a whole lot more attention this year, but he did pop off like I think Devontae Smith would in the Giants scheme. And here at number 12, I think the Eagles here have two main players that they have in mind. I think they want to go either Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah or J.C. Horn, and then maybe Caleb Farley down here right now, if they believe that his injury is not that big of a deal. So, also Christian Barmore is a sneaky one to take over for Fletcher Cox eventually. That would be an interesting one. So, Jamar Chase is still on the board as well. So, do you want to take Jamar Chase potentially? And the answer, in my opinion, is no. I think you should trade down here to a team that wants Jamar Chase or Rashawn Slater or Christian Darrisaw. I think you can, if you go back like a couple more spots, maybe at most at like 18 here, I think that would make a lot of sense for them. So here, I'm going to have actually the Dolphins trading up with the Eagles. And they are, I'm just going to make this go through. I'm going to have them take Christian Darrisaw. Now, I know this is a bit weird, right? Why would Christian Darrisaw go off before Rashawn Slater? And the reason why is because Christian Darrisaw, whoever he went up against, he just absolutely dominated. And I feel like the teams that are coming up are going to value that a lot. And so, I would not be surprised if Christian Darrisaw goes off the board before Rashawn Slater. And, here, since the Chargers are still here, and Rashawn Slater is still on the board, Rashawn Slater to the Chargers. And now, Jamar Chase still on the board here. I think this sort of thing is definitely possible where, Bengals go Penei Sewell. I think that's very possible. You could say this is Kyle Pitts or Patrick Surtain, or Penei Sewell, or they could trade back as well. And maybe you could switch Kyle Pitts and Patrick Surtain. It makes a lot more sense. I'm just gonna have this happen because of the fact that I've been hearing that the NFL teams are way higher on Surtain. So now the Vikings at 14. I don't think you want to take Jamar Chase actually, because you have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. You don't really run any 3 wide receiver sets if you're the Vikings. So I'm gonna have someone actually trading up to take Jamar Chase, and that's gonna be the Cardinals here. To the Vikings. If I can find the Vikings, there they are. And it would only take like an extra 4th probably, maybe a 3rd in the future. It's declined here, but that would definitely go through in real life. Make it go through. And the Cardinals take Jamar Chase here. So yeah. The Patriots here at 15 are probably going to go defense if I had to guess, because Bill Belichick does not draft wide receivers very well, and I don't think there's quite any worth it here anyways. So he's got the tight end. I think this is a sneaky spot for a running back to go. Actually, maybe Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. This would probably be the absolute earliest that a running back would go, but I can definitely see it happening. However, I'm going to be a lot more realistic here. I don't think Bill Belichick is in that sort of mindset. I think he moves on very quickly with the trends, and the trends are saying now that you don't draft a running back at the first round. So, where do I go instead? Well, here I'm going to have the Patriots take Christian Barmore. Christian Barmore, in my opinion, is an absolute freak. And if you look at what he did with Alabama, he was very, very efficient with the playing time that he got. Now, he didn't play as much as maybe he will in the NFL, but he was kind of that rotation guy. And Nick Saban kind of does that with almost everyone. So Christian Barmore was crazy efficient, and if he could just have a fraction of that efficiency in the NFL, I think that would be fantastic for the Patriots. Now the Vikings here at 16, I think they should be going edge here. You can address the offensive line later on in the draft and be completely fine. So here, my number one edge rusher being Jalen Phillips is going off the board here to the Vikings. Yeah, simple as that. And here, of course, we have to have the Raiders reach here. What would a draft be without the Raiders reaching with their first round pick? So, what is a good reach here? Let's go down here. Nick Bolton, maybe Jalen Mayfield. Jalen Mayfield, actually. He probably wouldn't be considered too bad of a reach, but let's do it. Jalen Mayfield to the Raiders. Yeah, they need tackles on both sides, so Jalen Mayfield being their right tackle for now. And the Philadelphia Eagles here at 18. Like I said, they had two guys in mind. They have either J.C. Horn or Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They both happen to be available here at 18. So since the linebackers seem to be falling right now, I would think if Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah goes earlier, there would maybe even be more corners available. Maybe even Caleb Farley makes some sense here, but I'm going to take J.C. Horn. He's the more healthy one at the time. And yeah, so here at 19, I think this is where Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah goes. The only real holes on the football team's defense is the linebackers. So if they beef that up, they could be sneaky deep playoff run contender, I guess. And the Cowboys here at 20. Now, the reason why I had them trading down is because at 10, they don't really have too many options. They could go tackle, but they might believe that they're already set at tackle and they just need those guys to be healthy, and then they get some depth pieces later on in the draft. So maybe they were hoping that a Caleb Farley potentially falls to them, or maybe they could go edge rusher and Kwity Paye. But since Caleb Farley's still on the board, I think I don't think he falls too much further than late 20s. I don't see him getting past this, even with the injury problems. Even though the NFL in general just hates injuries, I don't think he falls out of the first round even close to that. So yeah, the Colts here at 21. I think they probably should be going either if a tackle like if Christian Darrisaw is still here at 21, they should be going Christian Darrisaw. I could see them going Tevin Jenkins and shifting him over to left tackle. That is very possible. But I think what's more likely is they go defense and they use a later pick to go left tackle. So here, Azeez Ojulari or Kwity Paye. I don't think this is like the only site that has Azeez Ojulari over Kwity Paye, but here I'm going to have it happen in this mock. So now at 22, people have been saying, draft a wide receiver because Corey Davis is gone. However, I do think you can get very good wide receivers later on in the draft, and you don't need a wide receiver 1 because A.J. Brown is really young. He's going to be your wide receiver 1 for a very long time. So why not address maybe corner here, potentially even edge rusher opposite of Bud Dupree. I think that's definitely a possibility, and I'm going to have them go with Kwity Paye here at number 22. And then at number 23, I think this is going to be what Robert Saleh really wants here. I think in the second round, you're probably going to see a running back go off the board, and then they're probably going to have to get some depth pieces or best player available later on. But this is going to be what Robert Saleh wants, and I think he's really going to like Jamin Davis. He's super athletic. He's going to give you the kind of upside that you love at this sort of range. Yet, I think what Robert Saleh does with him is converts him to an edge rusher, an outside linebacker, and plays him like that. And then that way he can be the guy that rushes the passer, drops back in coverage occasionally, and I think he'd do extremely well in that role with the Jets. So now at 24, I think this is the most likely spot to go running back first. However, The Steelers in general have been pretty good at drafting, so I don't know if they go running back here. At the same time, though, are you really getting a running back later on? And are you? I mean, you could probably grab like you know, a guard like Elijah Vera Tucker potentially. Not obviously in this sort of tier, but you can grab a guard. Those kind of guys will be there later on. Wyatt Davis. You can grab maybe a Creed Humphrey, Quinn Miners, Landon Dickerson. You need a center if you're the Steelers, but you could definitely grab those in later rounds. I just don't know if Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, or Javonte Williams will be available in the second round for them. So let's go Najee Harris for them to the Steelers. I think this would be ideal landing spot for Najee Harris. And yeah. Now at 25, the Jaguars could go multiple number of paths. I could see them going Tevin Jenkins and shifting over to left tackle, although I don't really expect them to take on that sort of role. I could see them going Elijah Vera Tucker and putting him at left tackle. I think that's very possible. And I'm going to actually do that because Elijah Vera Tucker, I'm having him fall here, but I think it's very likely that he goes earlier than this. Although I would not be surprised if he goes later because he's not really valued as a tackle at the moment. But maybe a team like the Jaguars does value him there. Now at 26, if I'm the Browns, I'm trading away Odell and then getting a wide receiver here at 26, but I just don't see that happening. So instead, I'm going to have them address a way bigger need. And I can see them going Levi Wuzurike, actually. Maybe they just value Levi here. I think Chris Sims had him as his defensive tackle 1, which is very interesting. I don't agree with that. Also, there's this man named Marvin Wilson. And Marvin Wilson has been getting a lot of first-round talk. And I would not be surprised if it goes in the first round. So, Marvin Wilson to the Browns. Maybe. I kind of like it, actually. Now, you probably haven't heard of this guy, but you're gonna see him rising up draft boards, and he will be considered at least a second-round pick once we get into the draft. So, Marvin Wilson here to the Browns. Let's get rid of this. And the Ravens here at 27. My opinion has been that they shouldn't go wide receiver here just because I don't think Lamar Jackson fuels a wide receiver 1. And also, they already have Hollywood Brown, which I think he's developing, and I think he's been taking steps forward. So I would not be surprised if he's their firm wide receiver 1 going into the season. So I think I'd rather go edge rusher here since all of your edge rushers have vanished off the face of the earth. So here, Joe Tryon is getting a lot of talk as a first-round pick. I don't think he will be worth that, in my opinion, but the NFL does seem pretty high on him. So I could see that happening. But also, Jason Owe has been getting talked to go even further than the first round. People have given him like to the Vikings at 14, which is insane, but I've seen it before. And here I'm going to have him go to the Ravens at 27. He had an awesome pro day and had one of the best pro days for an edge rusher in this class, I would say. Now, the Saints here, I think it's been my opinion that they should go wide receiver here just because Michael Thomas might just, his career might just be over. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but he hasn't been producing as well as he should be. So maybe he's just not quite, back in form after the injury. So let's go and take for them. Let's go and take Kadarius Toney. I think he's been getting talk for even like a top 20 pick. That's not been my opinion, but a lot of the film guys really love this guy, and the analytics guys hate Kadarius Toney. So there's bound to be a team that loves him at some point. I don't know whether teams, value film or analytics more, I would say it's probably 50-50, whereas in the draft community, it's probably closer to like 70 film and then 30 analytics. So I would not be surprised if Kadarius Toney goes in the first round as well. Now here, the Green Bay Packers. They should take wide receiver, and I think people would be very surprised if they did. But with the amount of backlash they've been getting, they've been at least looking at the wide receivers in this class. And I think here, it would be very, very likely to see them going wide receiver, despite them sucking at it for the last couple of years. They have been not been getting Aaron Rodgers the support that he's needed. Now, Terrace Marshall, I do like them as a fit for the Green Bay Packers, and I could definitely see that happening. So now, for the Bills at 30. Man, this one is tough because the whole offseason I've been saying, get a tackle here at number 30. And also, actually, Tevin Jenkins is still on the board, so I'm probably going to end up doing this. But also, I think you could go edge rusher here. Sneakily, they could go linebacker. Zaven Collins, you could also play as like an edge rusher as well. Maybe you go corner here, opposite Tre'Davious White, but maybe you can address that later on with like an Asante Samuel Jr. and Eric Stokes, Fatu Melifonwu, those sort of guys. So I'm gonna go actually. Man. Actually, I've been saying Joe Tryon could go in the first, so let's have him go to the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. And then here, Tevin Jenkins has fallen far enough, in my opinion. I don't think he goes anywhere further than 31. I would be very surprised if he's available and the Ravens just pass on him. So here he goes to them at 31. And I did say this in my trade video that this is a possibility. I think it's way more likely that to take him at 27 and then address edge rusher here at 31. But also, I don't know if these teams take offensive line. I think Bills are the most likely, but they probably want a left tackle. So, yeah. Then at 32, the Buccaneers. I think there's going to be teams that are scared that the running backs will go off in a run. And so, the Jets are next and then the Falcons. So maybe someone decides to leapfrog and take a Travis Etienne here. Who are those candidates? We have Miami already traded up, so I don't think they would. Cardinals already traded up, so they probably wouldn't either. Which leaves basically the 49ers. The Falcons could as well. Who else here? What is a team that needs a running back? Oh, the Broncos. The Broncos could go trade up and get a running back. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do the Broncos taking Travis Etienne here. They're only trading up like 10 spots or so it's not going to require too much, but maybe they like Travis Etienne a lot. The Buccaneers are here somewhere if I can find them. And yeah, it would only be 8 spots in this case, so probably take like a future third in real life, but I'm just going to make this go through. And they take Travis Etienne here at number 32. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this mock draft. Kind of been shifting the positional values around. So you see Marvin Wilson's probably the biggest surprise, but he has been getting a lot of talk recently. Azeez Ojulari over Kwity Paye, and then you see Christian Barmore go really early. I could see Jalen Phillips going as high as 9, by the way, to the Broncos here. Or even, I think sneakily, the Falcons here could take him. I think it's more likely that they trade down and take Jalen Phillips. But yeah, Jalen Waddle here also the first player to go off the board in terms of wide receivers. And then Trey Lance here at 7. Watch out for the Lions to take a quarterback. I would not be surprised if that is the case. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this mock draft. And yeah, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.